Hello everybody and welcome back. Today I am trying out this set of Pentel art brush, they're bristle ink color brush pens. So they don't have the felt point, they have the bristles like they're liner brushes. And I thought they'd be interesting to try out. So we have a set. This is the 18 color set. And I'm just gonna, I don't really know exactly what I'm doing here, so I'm just gonna pick a few colors here and we're gonna see what we can come up with. Just trying these out. So hopefully that sounds interesting to you. Let's go with some, I have some brown and some sepia. Maybe we'll use some gray, and I'm thinking some red, orange, and yellow. Ooh, that should be interesting. So let me set these over here, and I guess let's start. I'm going to say starting light and moving to dark might be good, so let's give that a shot. Let me move this out of the way here. There we go. All right, and I did take them all and, take the ring off and, get the ink flowing, so they should be pretty much good to go. I'm going to do maybe a little bit more of a surrealist type thing here, so I'm just going to start. This is the yellow-orange. Start with some yellow-orange here, and I'm just going to make some blobs. Point of interest kind of just right in the center of the page here. And they have a really nice, the ink in them is really nice for most of the colors. Some of the colors were a little strange, maybe grainy or something. I'll start out like this, and then I think I'll, at the, when I'm finishing up there, I'll, come through and, do some line work over this whole thing. So, and this is the orange. It's just kind of fade from yellow-orange to orange. I'm not noticing much of a difference, actually, between those two colors, so that's interesting. All right. Maybe I should have gone from just yellow, straight yellow to orange, or yellow to orange yellow, yellow orange. Let's, I think now that I'm seeing it drying, it's slightly, yeah, you can see it on the camera a little better there. Oh, goodness. All right, here we have some red. And this was kind of an interesting red. It was a little pinkish, I think. So I'm going to just kind of come up here and try and, mix it a little bit with this. Do like a little bit of a wet on wet sort of technique if I can pull it off, maybe. Something like that. I don't know, I'm just kind of doodling around here, just kind of experimenting, seeing what I can pull off with this, so that's nice, actually. Maybe it's a little more red than I thought it was. When these, when I first opened them up, I think they had like some sort of water or some sort of fluid on there to keep the bristles wet, so maybe that was, interfering with what the ink looked like. I don't know. I do not know. I'm just imagining some sort of, almost like an alien seed pod or something. I don't know. Just having fun. Let's see how the brown mixes into that. And just trying to move quickly here so that it doesn't dry out on me. Like I said, I'm trying to get that kind of wet on wet technique. And that's an interesting looking brown here. Not exactly what I was going for, maybe, but I want to try these out. Maybe I don't have enough ink flow on here. I'm going to give this a little squeeze here and see if that, yeah. There we go. That's a little better. It's causing the paper to buckle a little bit here. And I wonder, doesn't seem to be bleeding through. This is some pretty heavy duty. This is the Stillman and Birn heavyweight paper here, so we're just going to give it some little blobs here. I don't know, almost like, kind of imagining like this part is kind of dried out. It's like the dried out, like it's growing upwards, and this is the fresh bit, and this is kind of the dried out chunks at the bottom, at the base, you know, almost like coral, or some plants kind of grow like that, I think. I don't know. There we go. Interesting. So I have the sepia here. Sepia? However you say it. Let's see. Yeah, and this is kind of a more muted here, so. Just going to do some kind of lumpy textures coming down this way, I think. We still in frame? Yeah. There's some big, create kind of a base for it here. And then I'm kind of spacing these out a little bit here, because I'm going to come through and fill in a lot of space with that gray, I think. And in my last video, I mentioned the board game. I'm going to start trying to work on a board game. I haven't gotten into it yet. We just adopted a pup, so I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off, taking him to, you know, get all his little vaccines, and I gotta, you know, get doggy supplies and all that stuff. So we've been doing a lot of that lately, and I haven't had time to look at the board game stuff just yet, but I'm still definitely going to be working on that. Oh, this isn't much. Yeah, some of them are a little wetter than others. It seems like that. The sepia was, I felt like the ink was thick, whereas this is very flowy. That's okay. It almost reminds me of if you've ever done watercolor, that Payne's gray sort of vibe. That's kind of what I was going for here, I think. That cool gray color mixed with some warmer tones. Thought that might be interesting. I just love these brush pens. I know I talk about them a lot. The videos. I don't know what it is that's attracting me to the brush pen, but I really do enjoy using them. So it's nice that they have all these colors. They're a little pricey though. Thank you to the patrons on my Patreon, by the way. They helped pay for these somewhat. Mrs. Ramshackle also helped. And oh, nice. I just picked up some of that brown. Or this, maybe it was the sepia or the brown. I don't know. Just coming through and adding some little textures here, and I might actually come through at the very end and do some highlights with a Posca pen or something. That might be interesting, but we'll see. We'll see how she ends up looking. All right, so let's give that a few minutes to dry. I'll either cut or time lapse, and I will start working on the line work here in just a moment. All right, and that looks about dry to me. Let's come in. This isn't in the set. This is a waterproof ink in this one, but same brand, Pentel. So what we're gonna do is just come through, and I think I'm going to start down here where, it's not very likely to mess anything up. Just see what that looks like. And this is pretty dark, so not getting a ton of contrast. That's okay. Let's just continue on. I'm just going to kind of outline stuff a little bit. Finding it really pays to be kind of loose and sloppy. Not sloppy, but loose. Loosey-goosey with the brush pen. So just trying to pick out some little edges here. Maybe this would be a shadow. All right. Give it a little bit of a dimension here. And I'm just kind of, I don't know, just grabbing any sort of shapes that I kind of see in the blobs of color here. And yeah, something like that. And I'm thinking I might come up with some heavier blacks to really give this a lot of pop, a lot of contrast. And I think that could be nice. So let's give this a little squeeze. Ooh, that was more than a little. Hopefully it's not going to be all sloppy now. Let's see. And maybe something in this area. like so. Yeah, I don't know. Just kind of messing around. I think maybe giving it a squeeze like that might have been a bad idea, because it seems to be kind of bleeding a little more now. But that's okay. As long as we go quick, light and quick. Yeah, see, and we're kind of getting some, it almost looks like rock or coral shapes down here. Let's come up here, give these some shadows. Just kind of grabbing some little edges like that. Making them almost look like leaves or something, right? You got to think about, there's probably, some in the foreground here, so I'll just try and do some little shadows for those. Something like that, maybe. It is bleeding out a little bit. Maybe this wasn't quite dry enough, so next time I'll try and I gave it about 20, 25 minutes, something like that. So maybe next time I'll give it like a full hour. Just make sure it's all the way dry. But it's fine. It just adds to the wabi-sabi. Call it a happy accident. I'm just trying to keep a kind of a light source in mind. Top left here. Just turn this into some sort of three-dimensional shape, maybe. See what we can do. It's hard when the ink's bleeding a lot like this. Feathering, or it's almost that wet on wet technique when you don't want it, It's always good to let this doggo snorting over there. It's always a good idea to let stuff like this dry all the way, I would suppose. I don't know, I'm kind of new to this, so I'm still figuring it out. Let's see. And then, let's have, he's kind of coming out almost like that or something. And I can always come through and add another layer of color if I want. I don't know if we're going to today, but we will see. Let's just get real dark right down here. Something like that. I don't know. What is it? It's a alien flower or egg pod. It's an alien thing. You don't know what it is because it's alien, right? That's the whole point of drawing alien stuff. Well, I don't know if that's the whole point, but it's the whole point of this this alien stuff. Yeah, let's give it like some pits, like so. All right. It's hard to get these little details to stand out like they're supposed to because the ink's feathering a little bit here. So we'll just try and do something like that. Yeah, all right. I don't really like what happened there, so that's okay. We have a black brush pen in our hand, which has the amazing ability to delete massive amounts of stuff in a short amount of time. There we go. Like it never happened. I guess except for in the video, where you all saw it happen. All right. And with this flower petal, egg, whatever thing, I don't want to get too crazy with the details here, so we're just going to give it kind of an outline, I think. Maybe a couple little contour lines. Call it good. Something like that. Whoa. Yeah, you got to be okay with sort of a variable line width, I guess, when you're working with the brush pen. Sometimes it is very difficult to control. But I think that's kind of what makes it look good. That's kind of the point, so give that kind of a something like that. Yeah, see, it's feathering, which I didn't want, but I honestly have no idea what I'm doing, so there. That's my excuse. No idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying it out. There we go. We'll get a little bit of hatching down here. Try and just do some super light, super thin hatching down here. Sorry, I'm focusing. I got all the focus right now. Sometimes I forget to try and describe what I'm doing. There we go. Let's see. It needs something. Maybe a little bit more down here. The paper is popping up, so if I let go of it, it just pulls right up into the brush. Thanks, paper. There we go. It's nice and weird. Ooh, yeah. Get a little swoopy with those contour lines there. Something like that, maybe. All right. And then I'm going to come down here, start working on some of this stuff a little bit. And I'm just coming through and I don't know, just kind of doodling, kind of blanking out my brain a little bit here and just letting it happen. Still getting used to the brush pen, so it's an interesting experience. Maybe we'll try and leave little white spots here and there. Have it come up and you'll see some of those directions I'm not used to pulling with the brush pen, so they'll get a little shaky, but that's okay. Still looks interesting, right? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of doodling here. It's nice. It's relaxing. So, I wish I had some more coffee. Maybe some tea. Let's do... something like that, maybe. It's kind of cool. Let's get a little bit darker through here. I was kind of afraid at first, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, thinking, yeah, this could use some nice big confident lines right through it. Something like that. Maybe. I don't know. Starting to look kind of neat. Oh, it's so weird. I've only doodled a little bit with these brush pens, and I feel like it's taken me maybe longer, but I don't know. I don't know if it's actually taking longer to figure out how to use these than other stuff, or it's just I've been using other stuff for so long that I don't remember how long it took, you know what I mean? Like fountain pens or what. I feel like with fountain pens it was pretty immediate, but I think that's just because they were very similar to other pens I've used, you know, like microns and stuff, like, you know, pens in general. So I feel like as soon as I picked up a fountain pen, I was like, oh yeah, I know what to do with this. And like, it wasn't much of a stretch, you know, from stuff I'd already done. So whereas the brush pen, I picked it up and felt completely foreign, you know. So it's taken me a little bit longer to get used to drawing with it, but maybe that's just because it's so different, you know, than just regular pens. There we go. Just doing some kind of overlapping. I'm trying to make these look like overlapping shapes a little bit. Like they're going backward into the background. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the dog's snoring over here. I'm not super gassy, I promise. Just Mr. Coco having himself some dreams. Maybe he's chasing a car. Eating some treats. Who knows? Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, see, it's easy to kind of get out of control with this brush pen here. Easy to start making some crazy lines, too. Maybe fill that little bit in. Yeah, that's good. All right, let's come back down here. Do some little blobby bits. Just kind of, I'm feeling these curly, kind of swoopy, smoky looking things or whatever they are. Enjoying it. Maybe we'll do something like that. Come up and give it a nice line coming up to it. It's not just that weird crunchy stuff. Yeah, something interesting I think about the brush pen that I'm learning is that you can't just turn it in every which direction. Like I can kind of go in any direction with a fountain pen pretty much. And the brush pen has, if you start trying to push it this way, it's not gonna, it's not gonna work. It's got a bunch of feathering in it. It's driving me crazy, but I'm just going to ignore it and pretend like it's not there. And it's fine. I'm going to be in denial about it. And it's totally cool. There we go. Maybe. Yeah, see, I'm trying to push some lines here. It's not working for me. One of those habits you get into that's hard to break. There we go. Lovely, lovely. We'll do something like that. Maybe just give this a little bit more of a line. There we go. And then something like that, maybe something like that. All right. And then I'm just going to come down here. Hopefully I'm still drawing on camera. And I almost want it to just kind of fade out at the bottom like this. Is that cool? I don't know. Can't even see where I put some of the ink down here. Yeah, so some of this is pretty dark. This might be better for doing stuff without an outline, maybe, which I could try. Just might get a little abstract. if we didn't have an outline. I mean, even more abstract, right? Because this is fairly abstract. I mean, we're trying to... Well, I am anyways. I'm trying to come up with what it is, but the truth is it's just a doodle, you know? It's not really anything. It's whatever your imagination wants it to be. We'll do something like this in here. Can I set my hand down on it and not smudge the crap out of it? Maybe I could just hold my pen way back here, my brush pen. Or I could just rotate it, because there's no rule against that. Right? Unless you guys made one. There we go. Something like that. Something like that. I just don't want to leave this whole bottom area just kind of blank. It felt a little blank, right? Not anymore. Or not blank, but like this had all this detail up here, and then down here it was just kind of... It's not supposed to have a ton of detail down here, but we should get some in there, right? Right. All right. And then the very last thing we're going to do here, real quick, is just come through with this larger brush pen here and just kind of fill out some areas with shadow here. Just a little bit of this kind of stuff, right? Leave a couple little white spots down here. Almost want this to become like the white bits to become like negative space or something. Maybe. Big snore. All right, and I don't want this to have like a big squared off edge or anything, but also don't want it to not have any kind of edge, I guess. I don't know, what's that mean? What does that even mean? All right. We've got a whole blank top of the page. Maybe we can add something onto that later, though. I think I'm going to call this done for today. I like it. I think it came out good. Go ahead and let me know what you think in the comments. And, you know, give me a like, a comment, a subscribe if you found this entertaining or useful or whatever. And special thank you to my patrons on Patreon. I mentioned them before in the video, but it helps me keep making these videos. It helps me get art supplies, all that stuff. So if you're interested, there's a link in the description and in a tile at the end of the video. And I will see you all in the next one. All right. Bye now.